Okay, Ruthless fans, I have answered the call because a bunch of people are like, yo, Jeremy, the the season finale, you gotta watch it. The season finale was fire. Season 4, episode 22, entitled Fistful of Greed. I did watch it, and I gotta admit it was actually pretty good. Yeah, it was actually a pretty solid episode here. It this could have been the series finale. If this was the series finale, I would have been quite satisfied. But no, there is a season 5. Season 5 is happening, and if I remember correctly, it's already been filmed. I did get information about season 5 months ago. I just didn't cover it because I just stopped watching Ruthless at the time. But in any case, I gotta say that based on what people have been telling me, it's like, man, the Oval season 5 ain't hitting on nothing. Ruthless season 4 is where it's at. The thing about it was, me, I would, if I could go back in time, I would stop myself from reviewing the Oval season 5 and would have switched gears over to Ruthless. But at the same time, people are like, man, Jeremy, I ain't, and I'm talking about some of the main YouTubers who review Ruthless, like, I haven't reviewed Ruthless in a few weeks because the episodes have been dragging. The Oval, I stopped reviewing that because the episodes have been dragging. But everybody came back for this finale, or yeah, I think the penultimate episode in the finale, because it seemed like things were finally moving forward. And the thing is, I haven't watched Ruthless since season 3, episode 11. So basically the mid-season finale of season 3. I just got sick of the long hiatuses and dropping 3 long episodes in the same week while I was busy with other shows. But yeah, this finale was pretty good. So before moving forward in the review, make sure you take a moment to hit like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And hit the bell icon and select all. That way you're up to date whenever I post content on the channel. And first of all, I'm not going back and watching every single episode from the back half of season 3 and the other 21 episodes of season 4. That ain't happening. I think I got a pretty good solid grasp of what to say about this episode. See, I watched the episode a couple hours ago. Then I did a live stream on Instagram and a live stream on YouTube. But after watching the episode, I watched Ruthless TV's breakdown. And thankfully, most of her thoughts are very similar to mine. I think I have a couple other additional things to say. But yeah, her thoughts on a few things really match what I had to say when I was taking notes about the episode. And just thanks to her in general, because I did watch a few of her reviews leading into the finale. That way I had a better grasp of some of the characters and whatnot. But I really liked what I saw. More Desiree, because I love me some Desiree, who I believe actually got married in real life recently. So it's like, oh, that's kind of a downer for me. But it's not impacting my score. If I treated this episode as its own thing outside of the Oval in terms of continuity, this is a solid, I want to say 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9. Look, it was an epic episode, but if I had one major gripe, it would be the fact that it took too damn long for River and Joan and Lacey and Zane. And I think Laura too, but wasn't she the one leading the charge of the women in the woods to go follow the men to get the highest back? I don't know. But it's like, look, as soon as the highest was rolled out of there in the Rolls Royce and whatnot, and all the guards were in the frenzy and everything, and all the members in general, because their leader was taken from them. And I feel like the opening scene did a great job. Okay, let me put it this way. The non-believers should have gotten up and left. It's like, yo, y'all dragging y'all feet to get the hell out of there. I think Ruth, her whole thing with this episode was like, y'all need to get up out of here before things get crazy again. Nobody's at the front gate. But in terms of the other members who were uncertain about what to do, I watched an episode of The Twilight Zone. We leave for Earth on Thursday or something. This was one of those hour-long installments, and it's one of those situations where you had these people on a different planet, and then they were going to get picked up to go to Earth, and they've been there for like 40 something years, like decades, and they've been under the supervision of one man. So it's like going back to Earth means that they can go back and live their own lives outside of the colony. And the guy got power hungry because it's like, no, I'm going to talk to the government to give us a plot of land. That way I can watch over you forever and be your leader. But it's like, no, we want to be our own people. And I know that's a weird comparison, but let's break it down even further into real world application. So this is a cult. They believe in their leader. So I've actually heard stories about this, about how you have people who get locked up in jail for years, like decades. And when they either reach the end of their sentence, like, oh, you had to serve 25 years or 30 years, or they could be released early because of good behavior or something. Some people refuse to leave because they don't feel like they can acclimate themselves back into society, because they become so accustomed to living a certain lifestyle, which is behind bars or behind the prison wall. So, they just stay, and maybe they just work at the jail or something. And I feel like this is the same thing that could be applied to the compound members, the ones who really felt the loss of the highest, because it's like, what are they going to do? So basically the episode starts off with George and Lewis with guns pointed at the highest and Daikon. And then it's a matter of exposing the fact that, yo, this whole Rakadushi thing is a front. It's a fraud. And Daikon tries to fight back. But the thing is, when the highest orders him to shoot, the renegade members, they actually pulled a Batman. Their contingency plans worked, where the only weapons that are functional in the compound are the ones that they have. So they are literally free to ravage and do whatever they want. So what they do is they opt to take Ruth hostage via Bridget, and then you have Lewis and George taking the highest with them as insurance. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, you're talking about how we leave and we won't get far, but hey, you're coming with us, buddy boy. So as they go to the Rolls Royce to, get out of there, you have Ruth, who makes a stand by taking one of the guns, saying that, she'll do whatever it takes to protect the highest, but she gets the gun snatched away from her, which again, she's really playing her role in this, scheme very well. Now, basically, I know this is a weird comparison, but after Michael Jackson dealt with the incident where his hair caught on fire, remember the, famous photo where he's on the stretcher and whatnot, and you see him waving at the crowds outside with his, gloved hand as a signal that everything's going to be okay. The highest kind of did a similar thing as he was being taken away in his vehicle. He's like, don't worry, my children. So I thought that was pretty funny. So as they're leaving, you have just the compound in major disarray. They don't know what they're going to do without their leader. And like I said, the gates open, nobody's there. You're free to do what you want. But again, some of these members were so lost in the real world that the compound was their escape. Now that the highest was taken from them, what they believe in, when you've been living, I forgot exactly how long the compound has been a thing, but let's just say, for example, let's say you've been living a life of turmoil for like 20 plus years, like you came from an abusive household. You didn't have any family members who, would take care of you or anything like that. Maybe people picked on you, your job, it's just such a burden on you. Maybe you're in a marriage where it just felt like, you were unloved and so much pressure was put on you, and you found a form of escapism. So all of that pressure, all the worries, all of the responsibilities from the real world disappeared the moment you stepped foot on the compound for however long it was. So then you get drugged. So eventually all that matters is the Rakadushi, the highest, and what the role you play in their society. So once the figurehead had been removed, you're lost. It's like a school of fish. If you take out the leader, the rest of the fish are just mindless and they don't know what to do. They're all flailing around. I feel like that's the same thing in this situation. Like the lid's been taken off of the jar, but instead of escaping, none of the, individuals want to escape. They're like, no, it's like they can't notice that the top is gone, that they're free to go. That's what it feels like. So you have Daikon and Ruth kind of rallying the troop. You have Daikon who's trying to figure out a way to get the men together to go after their leader. Then you have Ruth trying to get the women together. So, Ruth is just telling them, like, look, grab, sticks and brooms and pans or anything you can grab in order to go find the highest, join the men in the woods. And I think that Ruth had a plan where it's like, okay, so all the weapons, there's no weapons on the compound. Four-wheelers, they aren't working because those two had the foresight to, prevent them from working. So they all got to go out there on foot. So they're ordered to like chop down a tree to block the road, which is actually quite effective. That way it will buy them some time, because if they block off the road to the compound, then they will have to go around. Or if they go on foot, there's a good chance they can set off some of the traps they have, along the trails there. So from there you have elder mother who's tipsy, because Ruth is like snapping on Lacey and Zane, like, yo, get the hell up out of here, what are you doing? But elder mother's sipping on some of that good, and she's like having a moment of, oh, Ruth, I misjudged you. The way you stood up for the highest was admirable, but without the highest, I'm going to end up drunk and under the railroad or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But then, Ruth tries to reassure her, like, hey, the baby that's inside of me, if something happens to our leader, this baby will grow to become the new leader of the Rakadushi. So from there, she's just telling the elder mother, look, you just go back to the trailer and lay down. It's like, no, I want to fight. I want to, like, look, you can barely fight the urge to stand up because whatever you drank, it must be that damn good. But she does hobble away to go lay down, and she tells Ruth, well, hey, stay at the compound until the baby's born. And then Ruth is like, oh, don't worry. It'll be okay. I'll be here. Right. So earlier she told River to go find Joan, because basically with George and Lewis on the run with that money, it's like, okay, what are we going to do now? We got to split the funds. So let's go back to the police station real quick, because Desiree is like, look, I got the warrant. We're going to raid that compound. But she gets stopped by the sheriff and Andrew, because it's like, look, if you go up there and raid the compound, that's a wrap, because they got the James Jones situation going on where they believe this dude that much to their life. They will just put it on the line for this man, because a siren will go off and then the kids are dead. The people will just, commit, take their own lives. It will be just, there's nothing to raid if everybody in there is dead. And Desiree can't believe what she's hearing. Now she's like, okay, maybe we shouldn't go up there. Cal's like, look, we gotta go. But then Andrew's like, wait, we got another agent up there. Wait, you mean Malcolm? Yeah, we got Malcolm up there. So it's like, oh, dang it. So wait, who is it? Malcolm and who was the other one? I forgot. Lynn was his wife, and Lynn is dead. Is Brian still alive, or Brian is dead? I think Malcolm's dead too, right? Look, again, I haven't watched in a while, so all these people could be dead for all I know. But in any case, they pretty much put a hold on it, because it's like, until the highest leaves, because that could be their chance to storm the compound. If the highest is gone and he's not there to, raise the flag, so to speak, then that means there is a chance the other members won't go through with the rituals to, deal with the fact that their compound's about to be raided. But word comes in that the Rolls Royce is on the move, which could indicate the highest is gone too, but they can't confirm just yet. So the best that they can do is, trail the Rolls Royce and put all their information together until they're able to identify whether or not the highest is there as well. So, they don't really buy the booby trap thing, because Sheriff Conley and Andrew try to tell them, look, they got landmines, they got snipers, they got all bear traps and everything. So what you need to do is, make sure you're careful, because this is crazy. But these two FBI agents, they don't buy it. They feel like this is all a farce, but it's like, man, this is not a lie. This is for real. So on top of that, you have, what's his name? Who's worried about Laura? Is it Kyle, right? Kyle? He's like, look, you got Malcolm up there when the agent, but my wife is in there. So we need to make sure we do this so she doesn't die. We need to get these people out of here. So as Andrew and Conley are taken back to their cell while the operation goes through, they kind of just have a moment where they talk about how hey, do you think it's a bloodbath going on? Like, I don't know. It's just like, it was fun while it lasted. Yeah, well, all the crazy shit going on, from all the murders and the cover ups and everything, the human trafficking, the drugs. And then, Andrew kind of strikes a nerve with the sheriff when he mentions, like, oh, yeah, you had a good time with them young girls. Huh? No, I never went with a slave with an underage girl. Because he kind of makes a crack at Andrew about, getting, penetrated in the behind to please the highest. But Andrew's like, that's never happened to me. But you and them young girls. But it's like, hey, the highest lied, because Conley thinks that he's clean, but Andrew's like, hey, you just want to be sure, like, just because the highest said something doesn't mean it's the truth. So for all you could have laid with some chicks under 18, not just under 21, without even knowing it. So from there, the conversation shift gears to Conley revealing that the highest hair is fake. The fact that he gets hair from a salon stylist who glues it to his head because he's like damn near bald. So from there, we go over to the compound yet again. And you have Joan and River chatting in the, the finance trailer, talking about how they have to split the money and everything. And again, it's like, yo, there's no time for the hugging and smiling. Y'all need to get up out of here. But they actually switch over to street clothes, So they meet up with Ruth one last time. I did like this scene. Like I said, this should have happened a bit earlier. I would have been more in a rush to leave. But following the actors online, seeing them in, just normal everyday attire in real life, but actually seeing them in the show with this is actually pretty cool. Because for me, one thing that threw me off about Ruthless, like in season 1 and 2, is the women are all modest, like you don't really see their hair or anything because it's all in their robes. So when I saw some of like Paula, oh my god, Sam Thomas is so freaking beautiful. But then you have Elise, who plays Lacey. She has such beautiful hair, so to actually see her hair on screen was amazing. And Zane, she has amazing hair in real life as well. So I just love seeing that. And Joan, with the glasses and the hair without the root. Oh man, it was great. Plus the cast is really close in real life. So if this is indeed the last time we see this group together, it definitely felt like a farewell worthy of note. Now they did say like, hey, we'll be Joan and River are like, hey, we'll have our social media handles. Remember, so when you get out after you find the kids, you can find us because we're gone. So just seeing them running through the gate opening was just so fun. It was great. Again, this could have been the finale. Now, Ruth is like, look, I know you love your daughter and you want to get Tally's daughter, but you ought to get the hell out of there. But she was looking for them keys so she can get in that car and find the kids. Because if I'm not mistaken, aren't the kids in like a hotel or something like that? I forgot. I've just been kind of going off of hearsay and recaps that I've been watching from, every now and then. But in any case, yeah, she's in the newspaper car and she takes off. So aside from Elder Mother and perhaps a few members, the compound's going to be a bit of a ghost town when and if the FBI ever raids it. So Daikon and his crew, they meet up with a random member of the Rakadushi in the woods, and he kind of gives a recap of what's going on. He gives his gun over to Daikon. So the Rolls Royce stops, and you got Lewis and George who are taunting the highest about the situation because they're curious as to, or he's curious as to how they orchestrated this plan. Oh, the Rakadushi didn't tell you? So I mean the Raku didn't tell you? Tyrone is just kind of out of it. He's like, well, because this isn't the first time he's been held at gunpoint by, traitors within his organization. What was his name? Steven? I forgot. The big black dude that Lacey was getting it on with. I forgot. But in any case, this reminded me when Lewis was running his mouth off about like $300,000 and the way the highest flipped it on him. This reminded me of the haves and the have-nots when Warlock was really pissed because I think Candace only gave him like $100,000 or $50,000 or something for helping him with the Jim Cryer extortion. And she told him that she only got like 300 or 500K, something like that. But in reality, she got like $7.4 million. So when Jim told him that while they were locked up in jail together, he was pissed. So Lewis was pissed that Ruth played him, and it's like, we had $3 million at the compound. Lewis wants to go back and get the money, and George is trying to calm his ass down. It's like, bro, you need to calm down, because it's like you got the highest right where you want him. But the highest is cool because it's like, he's just chilling. George's like, look, he is getting inside of your head. So then a fight ensues, and Bridget's freaking out over the highest, staring at her. It's like, he's creepy, stop staring at me. But then out of nowhere, boom, she gets hit with a bullet. Then boom, Fred gets hit with a bullet. Fred's one of the FBI agents who was in the woods while the vehicles had stopped, trying to confirm if the highest was there or not. So Cal and Desiree are freaking out over the fact that Fred got, down by a bullet. But the question is, who was the one that took out these two? Was it the icon with the rifle he got from one of the members in the woods? Could it be one of the cartel members or something like that? I don't know. It's just one of those things where we are not certain. I don't know. But as the highest said to close out the episode, it's about to get fun. So yeah, this was a pretty banger episode. I ain't gonna lie. This was pretty good. Good way to close out the season, but this could have been a great way to close out the series as well. This could have been the way for Ruthless to kind of tie things up within the Oval. Now people are talking about potential spinoffs. You just never know. I think the potential is there, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what season 5 brings. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of the season finale? It just feels like, for as epic as this episode was, to have a better understanding, I suppose you would have to watch every single episode, but I'm not going to do that. So if you like my review, please hit the thumbs up button, and I'll catch you in the next video.